Wasn't that Sunny Hostin's husband? Isn't he involved in a RICO lawsuit?
Oh, I don't know.
Yes, that RICO lawsuit is still going on. Sunny Hostin gets to go on The View and act a fool all she wants. But yes, Joe Rogan is talking about that RICO lawsuit that I did cover a little bit in one of these episodes back in the day. But we're going to cover it a little bit more today, because the thing about Joe Rogan is when he breaks down these kind of factual topics, he gets into detail with it, and I can provide a little bit more, being as though that I've worked on the other side as a registered nurse and kind of seen how these things happen a lot, right? It's good that we get into it, There's a lot of people frauding out here. It really is. But let's go ahead and get into it.
About insurance fraud?
The View person?
Uh-huh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I have no idea.
Her husband got arrested.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's one of 200 people charged in some gigantic insurance fraud.
There's a lot of that.
What is that? What's the actual story behind that? Jamie's looking.
Jamie's on it.
He's on it.
They can take, you know how complicated it would be to try and untangle that web of where you're inflating things that people have, and you're saying this is like a band. You see these things online where it's like a Band-Aid is $25,000. Like what?
Someone explained that to me too. Is that when you have a budget, say if you run an organization and it has a budget, you get money from the government, and that budget's like $80 million a year, you can't spend 60 because then you're going to get 60 next year. You have to spend all 80.
Right.
If you don't.
That's exactly what it is, but it's also still kind of like a form of money laundering, if you will. What they do is, by the way, guys, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell. Thank you to every eye that lands on these videos. So, yes, let's say that, if you have a budget and you spend under the budget, obviously they're going to only give you what you spent the next time around. But there's still, before I get into this full example that I was about to give, there's still more to it. I mean, the details that go along with this kind of fraud, it's so sad, because you know where you see it the most? In nursing homes. And that is a trifling shame. Our geriatric community is treated so horrendous. Seriously, they really are. I mean, I can think of a couple great facilities, but not that many. And that's just so sad.
Spend all 80, you don't get it. You got to say, we need 90.
Right.
We're barely hanging on.
Right.
And so you have to charge
Inflation.
like $500,000 for a hammer. And that's literally how they justify their existence, is the key. They're not in the business of being frugal and being responsible and making sure that the money is being spent competently. No, they're in the business of keeping their budget coming in. Sunny Hostin's surgeon husband, Emmanuel, faces solo battle in lawsuit as co-defendants agree to settle. Oh, Jesus. So, okay. Sunny Hostin's surgeon husband has found himself in the hot seat in a massive lawsuit accusing nearly 200 healthcare providers of insurance fraud. Dr. Emmanuel Hostin defiantly called himself the victim of a frivolous smear campaign last month after he was accused of providing fraudulent medical services in exchange for kickbacks in a complaint filed by American Transit Insurance Company in December. Orthopedic surgeon now finds himself increasingly isolated after the vast majority of the defendants have now offered to settle their cases.
Oh, boy.
According to a new court filing obtained by DailyMail.com, American Transit, which insures taxi company and Uber Lyft drivers, announced last Monday more than 141 of the 186 defendants named in the suit have agreed in principle to settle one of the largest RICO cases ever filed in New York. The papers filed by the And I
don't mean to cut him off. I just want you guys to listen to what he's saying, and I'm going to come back with my assessment of the whole situation again. So let's go right back to Joe Rogan.
Offer Manning Cass did not specify which defendants offered to settle. Dr. Hostin has until February 10 to respond to the legal complaint. So it has something to do with drives from the hospital and kickbacks from all this shit.
Yeah, it's because that's what they need, though, is these guys who can use this AI technology to get in there and start looking on a massive scale at what all of these everything I mean, they have to look at everything. I think most Americans want this.
So they're being accused of getting kickbacks for performing surgeries and submitting fraudulent bills.
Yeah.
Hostin knowingly provided, this is in quotes, knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services, including arthroscopic surgeries. The lawsuit filed on December 17th claims American Transit was then billed in exchange for kickbacks and or other compensation, which were disguised as dividends or other cash distributions. I don't know how they know this. So I don't want to comment on this. I don't really understand what this is. This might be bullshit. It might be real. But I do know that doctors.
But this happens all the time. I mean, maybe not this.
Right. So then let me tell you, in a very educated hypothetical hypotheses theory of exactly what's going on. Because I get it, especially him, that man has a huge show. And as he's reading this, he's like, you know what, these broads don't even like me, so let me not get into it. So let's go straight to the point. What is being accused, allegedly, all of allegedlys are there. I wasn't there. I didn't see it. All right, now that we got that out the way. So if somebody clips me out of term, we got that out the way. All right? So anyway, what's being accused is actually worse than what I've seen done in nursing homes, because these people were performing orthopedic surgery on people who more than likely, allegedly, didn't need it, okay? How does that happen, right? Like, oh my God, like how can you just fraud and say that somebody was, needed surgery and they didn't? It's very easy. You can document something a certain way to look a certain way, right? And you can say, too, that, well, we don't really know how things look until we get inside. There's many ways to do that. However, there shouldn't be a pattern of you constantly doing that. So let's say a person probably fell, and they probably were doing this really to old people, because a lot of times the people who break their bones that hard, because this is orthopedics, are the geriatric community. Like, so they're in the geriatric community. So maybe they fell and they kind of like broke their like wrists or something, or not even broke it, or maybe they strained it a bit, and if they just put it in a immobilizer, it would probably be okay for a little bit while it healed, because your bones can still heal themselves. They might have documented it a certain way, said, well, we looked at the x-rays and I wasn't sure until I went in. So, we put pins. We did a rod and pin set. Let me show you what that looks like too, by the way, because I don't want to bore you with the same frame that's on the computer that does get boring to look at the same thing for a while. So let me just look it up for you. We can do this together. Pins and needles, like, hands, right? Like, so, no, man, come on, man. Rod and in leg, right? Okay. So, image. Oh, come on. There you go. Like, you can, this right here. So, this is a whole, now this person really must have needed this, but yeah, that's like coming out of the skin there, so you might have somebody who just maybe didn't need all this. They probably just, if you would just immobilize the leg, don't move that leg for a while, and it could have mended itself back together again. And that could be it, and the person would be fine. So this is like an external fixator. Or sometimes you can have another external fixator where you're doing open reduction external fixator, where you're kind of moving the joint back in place, but from the outside. And so then the person does not have to have this extra extensive kind of surgery. Okay. I don't want to bore you guys. I really don't. But of course it's fascinating to me. And so, we have Sunny Hostin. Apparently, we could read this from, let's get ready. There's going to be like a ton of advertisements, right? The View co-host sets the record straight on lawsuit against husband. So in her statement, the View co-host alleged that American Transit has capitalized off the fact that she is a public figure. Okay, to start a disgusting media smear campaign against my husband, which included me and our children. Sunny and her husband share 2 kids, a son Gabriel, daughter, The TV personality declared the family would not back down, claiming the company was harassing the entire Hostin clan. American Transit is harassing me and my family in a frantic attempt to not pay its bills. Our family will not be intimidated and harassed. We remain unbowed. It says Sunny, who is a lawyer herself, made it apparent she would make the insurance company pay for their actions. As she wrote in her statement, let me be clear, where I come from, American Transit will receive a PhD from a FAFO university, meaning F around and find out, right? Because that's how, you deal with your situations. These serious, allegations, and I mean, these are some serious allegations. That's how you deal with them, by talk about F around and find out and getting ghetto. Additionally, the pair's attorney, Mark Garagos, sent a letter to American Transit on Sunday, January 12th, warning them they would be served with a $5 million countersuit if they did not withdraw the case and apologize. The former Truth About Murders with Sunny Hostin's host, stated the money they are requesting is an amount that is likely to increase as reputational damage that American Transit has intentionally caused and is difficult to quantify at this time. All right, so they're basically saying that, y'all costing me money for these allegations. So here's the thing about these insurance companies. Yes, you can have where they're so hard up not to pay the bill that they need more documentation. That's what they ask for, okay? And when that happens, if you provide the documentation to show that you weren't doing anything wrong, you're fine. She's saying that they're coming after her, right? But there were other people involved in the lawsuit, and those people were like, yo, let me just settle out and keep it moving. You people want to countersue. Okay, fine. Then, but to me, it's weird. All right, let me take my bias out of it. But it's just that I just still find it a little weird, because you would have the proper documentation to show that these people needed these kind of surgeries. The other thing is, too, you could bill somebody with an ICD-10 code in seconds to an insurance company, and if they're not auditing what you're doing, you could get away with that a few times. You certainly can, because they can't audit everything. They just simply can't. Like I said, I don't blame Joe Rogan for being like, yo, you know what, I might chill a little bit on the story. But this is what is happening out here. It is.
This might be bullshit. It might be real. But I do know that doctors...
But this happens all the time. I mean, maybe not this, but there's provider side fraud that is very well known, and people have been called out for it.
There's a doctor that I was just watching this whole thing on where he, I think it was 200 people he treated, it might have been more, that did not have cancer, and he gave them chemotherapy.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He falsely diagnosed them as having cancer and then treated them with for cancer. Yeah, and some of them got really sick and died.
Well, yeah.
Well, of course they did, because that chemotherapy is supposed to kill cells. Whether they're good or bad, there's no discrimination on what kind of cells it's killing. It's going to kill the cells. It's not like it goes in and says, hey, guess what? There's no cells. So, there's no bad cells, so I just won't move around. So this is the kind of stuff that happens. It is a shame. That's why I've been trying so hard to pull away from the medical system as a whole. I will always keep my license current, because you never know when you got to go underground, and you just don't know. But other than that, I don't want to be a part of it. Like, the fraud that happens is just so despicable. But anyway, guys, that's not even part of the story. I could go on forever. But please, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye.